What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the shop. Last video we were working on Daisy here, the turbo Mustang, getting the turbo headers fit up. As you can see on the passenger, or not the passenger, the driver's side was the one that went in easy, just a little finessing. Passenger side is the one that we had to cut up. I also got a set of valve covers on there that are actually the original ones I had on the car. As I was scrolling through YouTube, or it came up on my thing, my feed or home page, whatever that thing's called, suggested videos, I guess. It had hydro dipping with spray paint. Kind of caught my attention. I figured it out. Took me about, these valve covers were done after about 4 tries. It's really not that hard. It's actually kind of fun too. A couple different techniques on doing it to get that pattern. Let me see. Kind of like a marble. Red and black's always been my color scheme. I love it. I just love the way red and black go together. And this is a light but heavy strip style spray paint in the water. Give you that kind of marble effect. And it really doesn't look like that. It looks similar, but if you guys ever use the spray style clear or the rattle can clear, you have to put it on really thin at first, otherwise it'll bleed the colors, which is what it does even when it's thin, because those were a lot more solid. I think it looks better when it bleeds the color a little bit and you can start seeing the base metal show through. Really cool. If you guys want me to kind of go over that or the different techniques I use, there's another technique. Like I said, that's a light but strip style. Then there's another one too where you hold the can back farther and give it like a blanket style where it looks like it's spray painted, but with the different colors in there, you kind of a different effect you can't normally get with spray paint, I guess. But both really cool. If you want me to go over that later, I'll be happy to. Just let me know. But the last video we did, we were doing the headers. I had to cut the passenger side up quite a bit to get it to fit, and I had to wait or go ahead and order some tubing so we can do some pie cuts, fill in the gaps on the top of the header. So figured since we were waiting, I go ahead and do some work on Frankenstein here, my Gixxer powered homemade buggy. See, I got this side pretty much all set up, and if I remember the last video on this one is we got the knuckles made for it, or tacked into place or whatever, mocked up for it. Rear shock cage or the rear roll cage mocked up and tacked into place. I wanted to put it on the ground then, but came up short on some hardware, and which is another reason why I haven't done a video so long on this, just looking for hardware and bushings. These control arms I have on this buggy, some of you guys may have them out there, are the Carter Brothers GT250 little side-by-side buggies that they no longer make. And hardware, believe it or not, and especially the bushings for these things are hard to come by, if you can even find them. And I'm not sure cross-reference numbers. I was looking, and finally what I did was I came up with a set of bushings, because some of them were good, so I'll use them on the inside, but the bushings for the knuckles, I came up with using bronze or these like brass style pivot bushings that you'd find in heavy gates, big doors or lift gates on trucks. Basically anything that's a heavy pivot point, I figured why not. Of course there was some machining, or I guess you can call it machining, but using a drill press and a file and some sandpaper to kind of smooth down the outside diameter here to get it to slide into the knuckle. So I'll show you guys how to do that. If any of you guys have one of those Carter Brothers out there, and of course finding the right hardware, because a buddy of mine actually gave me all these control arms. Hardware was a little bent up, but I kind of upgraded, which is another reason why I needed to upgrade the bushings, using these 1/2-inch shank bolts here, but the threads don't go in far enough. So what I do is I put it in, mark it, use a die, thread it, get it on there, cut the excess off. But anyways, go ahead and get myself set up. Another thing I got to do, show you. As you can see, the mounts for the upper control arms there are real close on this one to the frame. If you go over here to the right side, I had to redo them. So basically it'll bring out the control arms a little farther out and help with my camber. My measurements somewhere along the lines are roughly about 1/4 of an inch off. They might still be a little bit off, but I'll fix that later. I just want to get the suspension on it, because I know when we cycle the suspension, the wheel will kick in and out as it goes up. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this left side finished up, get the new upper mounts on. We'll go ahead and get the new bushings in the knuckle, get the springs back on, and this video I should get it on the ground. We'll get it rolled outside, see what it looks like, see how goofy it looks with these rear tires. I think I might have to upgrade to 25s. These are 22s, but yeah, go ahead and get myself set up, get this upper control arm off, get those upper mounts off, get the new ones tacked into place, and get the bushings in and get it on the ground. Alright, got the control arm off, got the new mounts tacked into place, got the top of the control arm moved farther away from the frame. See, I can show you guys here real quick. So you can see, definitely moved farther away from the frame. Both sides, I got them tacked into place here. Basically just upper corner, lower corner, done that on each side. I don't know if you can get in there and see, but that's just to help me kind of keep it stable, make sure everything lines up pretty close. Now I'm sure I'm gonna have to cut something off, tweak something here and there. This thing was all built just by pictures and visions in my head from the ground up, using parts laying around, surfing eBay, finding different parts here and there, see what I can make work, see what I can cut up. Just this whole buggy has been a big learning experience for me. I can't wait to get it running. I'm really excited to get it on the ground. But now that we got the upper control arm moved out to kind of correct some of the camber issue that we have, I'm gonna go over here to my what is that thing? My drill press, and I'll show you guys how I made the how I trimmed up the bushings that I bought to get them to fit these control arms here for our knuckles. And yeah, I've got 3 of the 4 installed on the control arms over there. I got one of the bolts installed too. I'll show you what I did to make the bolt the correct length. But right now I'll get myself set up on the camera here real quick, and then I'll go over the bushing with you. All right, got you over here on my bench here with my little Harbor Freight drill press. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself here, because I'm most likely going to forget to put this in the description. So, here's one of the bearings I use. This is a 3/4 inner, 1 inch outer bronze flange bearing. So you get that number there. And this is a 1/2 inch inner, 3/4 outer, 3/4 length bronze flange bearing. Now, I bought these at Atwood's. Probably get them at Tractor Supply or Home Depot or Lowe's. Anywhere that has like a hardware maybe a hardware store itself that sells nothing but bolts and other type of bearings or flanges. But this is the original one that came inside those Carter Brother control arms. Now, I tried looking before. You can see that it's just plastic. It's kind of wore out, and I've tried looking for them, but the websites I did find, either going on eBay or even Carter Brothers websites or other people that sell parts for the Carter Brothers, for whatever reason I couldn't find these bushings. I could find the little steel washers, I could find the steel sleeves, but I couldn't find the plastic bushings. And I didn't know any cross reference numbers. I tried asking, but kind of got impatient. So what I did was I went to hardware stores and I found these little bronze flange bushings, bearings. Now, the original one here, you can see I got my little caliper set up. Fits inside. And I gave myself, this is a little big, so I have room to file it down to make sure it's a snug fit, because I realized on the first couple I did that the holes in the control arms weren't accurate on, or the same, consistent. So I gave myself a little room to file. And you can see my new bronze bearing here. She doesn't fit. So I've got it sitting in a piece of rubber hose down in there. I don't know if you can see it, but right in there. So I got a rubber hose, little sleeve, bolt and nut. Got it chucked, got it set up so I can put her in my drill press here. One day I'll have a lathe. One day, I'm hoping. But right now I just kind of use what I got. If you don't have a drill press, you might be able to use a hand drill or something like that. It might take a little longer. Then to get the cut started, or get it going real fast, I got some 36 grit sandpaper. I just used that to get it going, get it real close, as quick, because after doing so many, or at least 7 of them so far, yeah, 7, got a little impatient after about the 4th one, so I came up with the 36 grit method, and then finish it off with a file. So, get it on, turn it, helps me get the cut even all the way around. So go ahead and speed the video up here real quick while you watch. Get this thing cut down, get it ready to put in the control arm. All right, got it all filed down. That whole little speed lapse thing you guys just watched in the actuality took just a little over 4 minutes to do. So you can see she's still a little warm, but whew, she's real hot. But she fits over now. A little snug in a couple spots, which is good. That'll help it stay in place when I put it in the control arm. We'll go ahead and let that sit and cool down. Now the inside diameter of that's way too big for the bolt. This is the same size diameter of the bolt that goes through the control arm into the knuckle. And as you can see, it fits that bolt. This sleeve, this bearing here fits perfect on the bolt. Now the inside hole, I'm sure you can find these bushings. The reason I went with 2 bearings because I needed the width also. I mean, I did find a bearing where it had the half-inch, where it was 1 inch outer, or yeah, 1 inch outer with a 1/2 inch inner hole for the bolt. That'd fit just fine. Now, I probably could have used washers or something to space out, but I didn't want any washers in there. So what I did was I went with a 3/4 inner, went with 2 bearings. And then all you got to do on this one, all I did was take my file, and you can see if I can get the focus in for you guys, where it's kind of got a little bit of a rough finish to it. All I did is take my file across, Get it done real quick here. Keep them going. Now I use that rough finish it has to kind of give me a guideline of what I filed and what I didn't. And what I'll do is I'll go all the way around this inner bearing right here. And get rid of that rough texture. Hope that isn't too loud on the camera. Get this done real quick. There you guys, yeah. But yeah, like I said, you could probably just buy a regular 1-inch outer, file it down to fit the inside of control arm if you're looking to upgrade yours, depending. I have found kits for other things out there where it's more cost effective just to buy these already, but for your application. But since I couldn't find any bushings for the Carter Brothers control arms, and I've just been using parts that I've been given or laying around or buy cheap to put this buggy together, this is what I came up with to fix my whole bushing problem that I ran into. So as you can see, all I did was just go around with the file, take off most of that rough texture. We'll get this thing unbolted. See how good of a job I did. You can see just a piece of rubber hose, inside diameter of that bushing. There. You file it down. You take a little bit more off the top side there, but you get the idea. Just file it down so it sits in there, because the knuckle is going to be, flange of the knuckle is going to be up against this outside of this inner bearing, and it's if it gets tight, this bearing is going to spin inside this bearing. I figured that'd be a little more durable. Not 100% sure how this works. This is just an experiment, really. Hopefully it works out great, or at least till I decide to upgrade those control arms to Heim joints, which probably would have been the easiest because it gives you all kinds of adjustment. Something that big, you're between welding and tack welding everything up, things, unless you got it anchored down on a jig, bolted down somewhere. So it's some way of keeping that thing from moving around on you. She's gonna move a little bit. So Heim joints would probably be the easiest way to go. But this is what I started off with. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it out. Upgrade later. But I'll go ahead and get this thing finished filed. Then we'll get over there, get it in the control arm there. Get that bolt trimmed up. And then we'll get that thing on the ground and see if we can't get it pushed outside. Alright, got our bushing all finished up. You can see. Oop. That focus in for you? Nice and shiny. Rough texture's all gone. Now another thing I forgot to mention too before I put this in there, and I can't show you, I've taken a small file, put little grooves on the outside here, and ran them. Let's see if I can get, there you go. You see, ran a small groove up on the inside there. Both sides. Because I do plan on replacing the zerp fittings in these pivot points on the control arms there. That way I can put grease in it and service it up. And I wanted a place, you can see it comes all the way through the back side there. So when the grease comes in, I want it to be able to squeeze past both bearings. That way there's grease on the inside there where it rotates. And of course come out and have grease on this flange here as well. So it's not just metal on metal or bearing on bearing. It has some kind of lubrication in there. You can see I filed it down. She fits nice and smooth in there. But just want to show you guys that before I put it in there. So go ahead and speed this video up, get that bolt out, get this guy in there, get her all tightened up, get the wheel on, get the shocks on this thing, get her set down, see if we can push it outside. She's out. Got her pushed outside. Got her sitting underneath her own weight now. Frankenstein is actually a roller now. Which is really, really cool. Get a nice little shot of our suspension back here. See if I can, it actually rolls really, really easy. Which is nice. We were playing around with it, turned the wheels, pushed it forward, straightened out, so the caster's, well, as far as I know, the caster's good. It wants to straighten itself right back out, so that's definitely a good sign. But yeah, don't want to get too out of control with it. I'm going to order another set of front shocks. We'll go dual shocks up front. With me sitting here, as you can, it's a little soft, so we'll get another set of those same ones. Kind of slow the bounce down a little bit. And I got a new steering rack I'm going to change out in the front. Don't want to get too out of control with this thing because nothing on this buggy is fully welded. Everything's got a tack in a corner here and there. Every once in a while you'll find a stitch weld that's about a ½ inch long. But I'm just really excited to get it out the shop door there. It's rolling. Definitely have a lot more motivation to continue working on that thing. Got to get the seat in there, start fabbing up the steering column, getting the brakes ran, clutch, wiring harness, computer, fuel cell. It has some things, but I have radiator. But you know, like I said, it has some things definitely that needs to be done to it to get it fired up and running. But just the fact that it rolls out of the shop on its own now is just, it's awesome. It's definitely more motivation. Plus I can, let's see, I can get back here in this corner now and clean up some of the mess I've had sitting underneath that. But while we were also doing that, it came first thing this morning. Right before I came up to the shop, but I wanted to give myself a little bit of time. Got our stainless for our header on Daisy. So next video we'll be back on the Turbo Mustang. We'll get the little pie pieces cut out of that, get them in the header, get those tacked up. I've also got some 2.5 inch stainless to go ahead and extend the crossover pipe from the driver's side to the passenger side, because I know I'm going to have to cut and lengthen it in a couple of spots to get it to match up. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that like button for me if you're new. Subscribe as well. We're getting close. Because for the 500 subscriber giveaway, got these little guys up over here. In case you're new and haven't seen anything before, I am giving a set of these guys away to help pull up intakes, heads, crankshafts, help you do your cleanup work, porting, all kinds of, or whatever else you can figure out to put on those things. I'll be giving away one for YouTube subscribers. I'll be giving away one to my Instagram followers. So make sure to follow me on Instagram as well at JohnnyBiggs_ToyShopFab. And like I said, once we hit 500 YouTube subscribers, I'll pick a winner for both. Don't forget to comment, help me build. And yeah, find the picture too on my Instagram that says 500 subscriber giveaway. Go ahead and like that picture as well. And yeah, this is awesome. You guys hanging out with me. My son up here hanging out with me as well. We're both growing, learning, working together. It's awesome. I love hearing comments from you guys. Love interacting with you guys. This is exactly what I wanted. So it's kind of a dream come true, really, hanging out with you guys. But again, like I said, I'm going to end the video right here. Don't forget to hit that like button for me, share with your friends, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.